Welcome to another episode of the Horror Junkies. I'm your host, Quan, and we got pretty much Edge on the screen right there. And
Hey, what's up?
we pretty much already, I guess, went through some kind of intro while I was kind of setting up this thing for about, 2 minutes. Yeah, 2 minutes and counting. So got that going. So we're going
You
to
know
go
what?
right into the meat of the stuff. But I mean,
Yeah,
yeah,
we did. I think you kind of touched on a little bit, but oh, what happened? What did I do?
I mean, I see
Um,
you, but I don't know what happened.
yeah.
I see
Okay,
you.
there it is. Yeah, what we touched on a little bit last week, but I want to make sure I didn't throw any extra bones at it. But the way we came together with this, I mean,
Hmm.
people need to know we're both martial artists, both working at the same place. And just as we're doing our duties as martial artists, we start talking horror. And I don't even know where it started. To be honest with you, I don't know where it started, how it started. Oh, no, I do remember now. Is I wore a stranger's T-shirt in the class one night, and you saw it, and you was like, "Oh, okay, you like the strangers." And there went from there. The,
Yep.
the conversations began. So
I mean, always horror uh mem- memorabilia that always kind of gets me. I mean, in fact, right now I'm just wearing the pretty much a hat that I think Freddy Krueger would approve of because it's like
yeah,
his colors with the
it does look like his
photo.
colors.
But yeah, and funny enough,
Also,
this almost doubles as my Christmas hat, and I'm not very Christmassy, so it's like, oh, like you got a Christmas hat? I'm like, yeah, I got my
there
Christmas.
you go.
But yeah, so yep, that's pretty much how we met. And it was very nice. I mean, very awesome. And ever since then, that's pretty much the second thing that we realized we got some in common. We are old school traditional martial artists, or in some cases, and we love horror movies. So that's how this started. So gonna get into
No
the meat
doubt.
of the stuff first. We want to get the juices going a little bit, which of course is we'd already talked about one of our favorite horror movies, but what is another favorite of your horror movies? What's another one on your list?
I
And
mean,
why?
as I mentioned in the last few, I love series. So I love the Saw series. I love the Scream series. But I also like old school movies too. I mean, I could go way back. Matter of fact, I don't want to mention a couple of them because they're in one of our later questions.
Go
But
ahead. Go ahead. No,
um, but yeah, I like some of the older stuff too. You know, the Psychos of the world, the original Psycho, of course, not any of the other stuff, but
however it is y'all
movies
say
of that
it.
nature, the older movies kind of, attract me a little bit. That's kind of, why I got started in is I enjoyed some of those, maybe not so well made horror movies, but yet they were still scary enough to make you go, "Wow, I like this." Even some of those late night things that used to come on television, I used to love watching those.
Mhm.
So, but yeah, I would say that the Saw series would be right up there.
Oh yeah, no, I feel you. Yeah, the Saw's very fun, especially yeah, pay homage to the first one, and of course the second one was great. But I'm gonna be honest, I haven't really saw many of the other ones, even though I know it's creative. But like after a while, when it gets to like a certain amount of series, which I will dive into, it's just like once you get, unless I've like been with it throughout that whole trilogy, once it's like got to one, two, and then I missed three, and then missed four, and then I hear about a five, and then six and seven, I kind of get like, what are we really doing here? What is going on? It's
Right. The good news with Stall, they do stick with the story, and that's one that I told you I'm a big story guy too. So I like it to make sure it falls in some kind of pattern, not get off the pattern. I think only one of the movies got off the pattern. That was called Spiral. It wasn't bad though. It still stayed true to the series, but it got off the pattern of the story a little bit. So I didn't necessarily like that, but yeah, the series itself, the Saw series itself, I like how it's kept. If you watch it movie by movie by movie, the characters just continue to evolve. Some of them, and they keep the same characters, at least a couple of them anyway, and they keep referring back to the first one or the second one in all the rest of them. So I kind of like that. Plus, I love the gore. I mean, the ingenious ways they put of killing people is Great.
Oh, yeah.
Sorry about
Oh, no, you're good. No, no, you keep going
Can you
into it.
say that on video and not wait a minute, can you say that on video and not get hunted down by by Secret Service or something? I don't know.
No.
Homeland Security. There you go.
No, trust me, they probably got a lot. There's a lot more videos going on that probably cybersecurity should get on, and yet they probably don't. So
No doubt.
it's about that. But
I'm
yeah,
not on their watch list. There you
yeah, I don't think so, unless you did any arson lately. But it's
go.
yeah, but no, Saul's good.
Firestarter, another good movie too.
No, you what? Which one?
Firestarter, very good movie. Old school. Drew Barrymore.
Yeah, Drew Barrymore. I
Probably
find it
way past
very.
your time, but
I find it very interesting. You stated pretty much old school movies because the reason why it was I was thinking of, I guess one of my favorites that's on our list of long lost favorites. And the funny thing is the most interesting one popped up, the Blob, but
yeah, the
the
Blob.
yeah, but
Is that really scary though?
the yeah, it's an unstoppable like gelatin force that is pretty much like its whole body's made out of like jelly acid. I mean,
I guess so. I guess
that can be
yeah.
that can be slightly scary thing. Granted, I understand it, and what makes it also funny is the fact of like I remember like the very first one, and of course when they added color to it. But the one I'm also kind of giving a nod to is pretty much I guess the one that came out in the I want to say 70s, 80s, something, some something. It was like pretty much like had a high school feel to it, or like
Right, right, right.
a kid feel to it. But that one just popped up like it was like, yeah, I really like because it's a very as much as I do like creatures or characters who are like very complicated. I also love like a very simple creature that has like one mission, and you can't get like I'm joking about. You can't get more simpler than like an acidic jelly blob that hunts people down and eats them. I mean and it's pretty much almost unstoppable because like unless it's like wintertime or you have like cryo like weapons, it's still gonna come at you. That's what it's basically. Yeah, unless it's like wintertime, it's all practically unstoppable. Like
I
that's
like the way you put
that's
that.
the cool about it. But yeah,
The Blob is unstoppable.
yeah, the blob of unstoppable. Yes, yes, you gotta watch it. It's very nice. All right, so since we got those nice, awesome horror movie workout muscles going, and I will get into some hot topics or some main topics. So one of the main topics, and I think I definitely have a story that's going to be funny to think about, is what was the movie or the moment that made you realize that you was a horror junkie?
Yeah, when I thought about that one, I mean, because remember, I mentioned The Burning was my first, and I was trying to think of, okay, so that was my first, but what made me decide, hey, I want to continue to watch this over and over and over and over and over? And I think it back into the again. I'm going to be giving some away from one of the last questions, but movies like Poltergeist, you know, those kind of movies you can sit and watch, and it's kind of family there, and you kind of like, wow, I mean, this is that Amityville Horror, you see family integrated into the movie, and it's like, this is scary because it's family, and I have a family, so those kind of things, just scare me, and that's kinda so I like when it I don't even know if we asked this question, but I like the adrenaline rush of horror movies, that's what I like. So, I like the feeling of that adrenaline rush, so and maybe the same reason I like, martial arts is that adrenaline rush you get when you get to perform and you get to do it, or you get to run a kata, or whatever the case may be, you get that feeling of just not I don't know, it's just a different feeling that you can't get anywhere else, so that's why I like horror movies.
I feel you with that. I feel you with that. And like no, like yeah, it's very similar. Like I actually have like I guess a slight reason, which that kind of goes. You kind of like hit two with one stone in a way. I mean, okay, never mind you there. You kind of pretty much hit like I guess a moment, but you also hit like a reason I guess that some people might be interested in watching a horror movie, which That's the slightly next topic, but I'm gonna finish mine first. But, pretty much, yeah, it's I can agree with that. Pretty much, I guess in the moment for me, um, I guess besides me trying to, like, triumph over this thing that scared me and also, like, the adrenaline rush, was I wanna say about 5, 6 years back to where this movie came out called Lights Out, and
Mhm.
it's pretty much like a movie that plays off, the jump scare of, like, this creature that's in the dark that comes out and gets people, and I went with a friend of mine, who said that he was very, very good, very, very, like, deep in horror movies until he went with me, and long story short, we pretty much after the movie, he's, like, walking with me, and he tells me, like, "Quan, I'm gonna be honest with you, I didn't know if I need to be scared of the movie or you, because the movie had some good jump scares, but not only did you not flinch, you're almost laughing the entire time." Like, you was like, "Haha, yeah, that's
Right.
great." But, like, that almost got me, like, I was sitting there, like, "What who am I with right now?" Like, and that oh,
Uh-oh, you lost your
right there, I
you lost
saw
your
that.
background.
That was good.
Was that a ghost?
No,
Yeah,
it's pretty
ghost.
much my tack.
Over here.
Tack probably fell. Not a good tack. But, yeah, that's probably the moment where I realized, like, "Oh, wow, I'm really a horror junkie." Because like, when I scare someone else who's says they're, like, a proclaimed horror guy and it
Right.
Hmm?
Everybody looks at me, they wonder, "Why do you like that?" I mean, and I get to ask that question quite a bit because, like I said, none of my rest of my family really likes AJ's kinda getting into a little bit. Well,
Oh,
he's my
really?
son, he wants to know why I'm excited about it. So
Oh,
I
yeah.
again, so I that's my answer. I just always something I just like the adrenaline rush of it. I felt it, felt it when I went to watch, The Burning that time, and I was like, "Oh, wow, I like this feeling. I wanna go back and get this again." And another thing with
Yep.
horror movies, very rarely do you get the who done it. I don't need a who done it. I wanna know who done it, just let me see how they doing it. Everybody should know who's doing it. And
Yep.
kinda, Scream in a way, you gotta figure out who did it, but you still know it's Ghostface Killer.
Oh, yeah.
So
Should know somebody who's dressed up as Ghostface Killer, but
right, you just always know somebody dressed up as Ghostface, maybe 1, maybe 2 people, whatever the case may be, so.
but yeah, that'd be pretty much that pretty much going into, like, the, second subject we're talking about, or that we're going into is pretty much what is the reason to watch, horror movies. And this can go like, for anyone who's like kind of zoned in, it's like, what is horror junkies? Why are they horror junkies? And yeah, that's one good reason that we can pretty much list and like put a stamp on of just like, why somebody should like horror movies. If you are an adrenaline junkie, if you need something to kind of like jolt you, finding a good horror movie, that's one reason to like horror movies. I mean, there are
If
countless yeah, there are almost countless ways that not only just as much as there are many genres of a horror movie, there are so many genres of like how they utilize, I guess, the fright aspect. Like you have, of course, the typical jump scares, you have the creepy that kind of descends a little bit upwards of like that's creepy to like that's kind of scary if I was in that situation. Of course, you have the
Right.
situation for horror. I mean, like you have
And I was gonna mention that too. I think that also goes into it when you tell somebody, "Hey, I'm watching this horror movie. What would you do in this instance?" I mean, and when there's always a why did they do that? Why did they do that? There's always those answers when you watch the horror movie. And like I said, kind of you never get that who done it. On a very few of them. So I like the whole, you know, trying to figure out what's next. And then one thing
Mhm.
about horror movies, they're very rarely are they boring. And
Yes.
I don't care. It could be a bad movie, but I doubt it's going to be boring because it's horror. And one of the other things I'd tell you, if somebody asked me, "Hey, why would I want to get in horror movies?" And we talked about this last week, there are so many options,
Mhm.
so
So
many
many
options.
options and
You,
so many like I won't say so many reasons, but like the reasons kind of go on a little bit on that. Yeah, on that way because uh and didn't mean to interrupt, but like pretty much like not only is the adrenaline aspect there, but for me, when I really like, if I was to like put it in like a research paper or something, for me, it's like it's one of the few times to where you actually feel what the character could be going through. Like,
Right.
yeah,
Right. Good point.
like when you watch an action movie, it's like you feel a little bit of attention. You feel that, the stakes and stuff. And then of course when you feel like see like, any kind of like rom-com or some kind of like comedy movie or something, you can feel it, but like only in a horror movie it's like zoned in
Right.
to where it's like,
Zone in.
yeah,
Exactly.
yeah, to where it's
Like
like,
to be zoned in.
yeah, it's like you're literally just like, ooh, am I feeling nervous right now? Is that what I'd feel if I was in this situation too? Like, would I feel that nervousness? Would it be like that kind of thing going on? That the cold
I can't
air?
remember. Yeah, I thought of thinking I can't remember the last horror movie that actually scared me though. And I kinda maybe because I've
Really?
seen so many, but so I'm looking for that. When I look, I wanna see that realism. Like I said, the realism is good for me. I like to see yeah, like you just said, kinda make you feel what the characters are feeling. So,
Dig that. Indeed, indeed. Let's see. So you got pretty much adrenaline, feeling what the character's feeling. That could be another reason to people should watch horror movies. Trying to think what would be another reason people should watch horror movies? I mean, I guess just like I guess going back with me and I guess going back with you, figure out a way how to get over certain fears. I mean,
right,
not yeah, I don't want to say that yes, certain movies can help you get over fears, but it can I think it's a good step in a certain direction because as I stated with reference to the last video, is like I'm not a big fan of spiders or snakes. But watching it on a movie, you know, or watching it on screen, I can kind of stand it because I can understand the situation. But because of me being able to do that, I might be able to get used to seeing that a little bit more often, that kind of
right.
so
I was gonna add one of those into my last question too, so go ahead, keep
Sure.
going.
No, no. I mean, that was pretty much my spiel right there. Like just the fact that like if you want to pretty much watch another reason that some people should watch a horror movie is like, to get over a certain fear. Like if they happen to be afraid of, spiders, watch a spider horror movie and watch like,
Exactly.
something
It's
that's
definitely a good way to
something
get
that's
over it.
slightly positive, like arachnophobia or something. It's
And like I told you earlier, I've got a 13-year-old son. I don't mind him watching horror movies. There's some like of the I mean, I let him watch Scream, and some of that gets a little bit, you know, I don't
something.
know, how do I put it? The knife, because that's what they use. That's their, choice of killing. Ghostface killer's choice of killing is knife, and the
Yep.
knife, sometimes it's a little excessive. The 3, 4, 5 knife, to somebody. So a lot of times he'll turn his head away. That's fine. I mean, I just want to, I want to find out if you're gonna like it. That's fine.
Hmm. Of
That's why I guess that's why they have the PG-13 rating on.
course they would.
Except for I think that's R, but
It will be yes, the rated R rating. But yeah, I kind of like that. That was a pretty good session right there. Let's see. Well, I mean, not session, but like good questions, good answers. I like those answers. But the next one we got is ooh, yeah. This talks about the positive and negative horror endings. So, for clarification, just in case, yeah, pretty much for the people who are watching, what we mean by positive and negative endings is pretty much the positive ending, of course, is the protagonist, the hero or heroine, for thinking about all other awesome horror movies that had check out like pretty much the people in Scream, Sigourney Weaver from the Alien series that pops up in my head now. But like they pretty much the positive ending, they triumph over the evil, the thing that scared
right,
them, the monster, the force. But with the negative ending, we have there's pretty much no hold bars, no one makes it out alive, the kind of bleak kind of ending that, that makes people question, sunshine and all that stuff. But
Those happen, that's
yeah,
I mean,
those
there are gonna
happen.
be horror movies like that, and
Oh
you
no.
don't have to like those kinda horror movies.
Oh yeah. No, no,
If you don't like
maybe
the
not.
ones that's gonna have bad endings or terrible endings, just, don't just decide, "Hey, that's not what I'm gonna watch," you know? Find your genre, find what you like,
And do
and kinda go from there. It's like I said, there's so many different styles, so many different kinds. There's
mhm,
haunted movies, there's, uh, there's ghost movies, there are, your slashers. I mean, we could probably come up with 1,000 different kinds of horror movies, and you just have to find your niche, find out what I like them all, but I mean, for the newcomer, which I know that question's coming, or just for that person you're trying to get interested about and say, "Hey, this is what horror movies about." You might like them, whatever.
mhm.
That's one of the things that to let them know that, hey, there's gonna be some that you're not maybe not gonna like the ending.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
I don't mind the endings are bad. There's some that make me go, "Oh, wow."
Oh no.
Like I said,
I
I'm still
kind
so
of.
every time I watch The Mist, I've watched The Mist probably like 10 times over and over and over just to see if I can figure out how I can make myself feel better at the end of that one, and I can't
Mhm,
do it. It's just like
mhm.
again, the
Well,
family aspect comes into play in that one
well,
too, but
kind of. For me, if I had to like kind of sum it up or kind of intellectualize it a little bit, like parents, I think both is needed, and yes, it's also good both for like preferences. Reason why is because like with the positive one, you need to know that some things you can like get out of, some things you can triumph over, with the right enough grit and help and strength and all the
Mhm.
right beings. But French, I feel that sometimes you do need, the negative ending, the I guess the most horrible thing happen kind of ending because as bad sometimes as it may sound, sometimes you can try your best and you still don't get that win. You still don't get that W. I mean, it's
Right,
and not trying to be, 100%, not trying to be like negative because like I said, I like both sides of it. But like just pretty much with uh it's to me the negative one seems like it's more pretty much like the duality of nature, like
right,
in some cases, you could be the lion going after another lion, and in other cases, you could be the mouse that's trying to escape from the cat. And let's be honest, the cat is almost made to most of the time win over the mouse. So it's
right.
sometimes it happens. Like we don't like.
They need a Tom and Jerry horror movie. Hey, listen, they've had others that's good, Tom and Jerry might be a good one.
Tom
I
and
keep going,
Jerry
I'm sorry.
horror movie.
Yeah, Winnie the Pooh. I mean, I've told you about Winnie the Pooh. It's a good one.
I
Love
still
Winnie the
got, I
Pooh.
still got to look into that. That's on my list. That's on my list. I'm about to was many horror movies that we've listed that we need to be like, oh, you need to watch this, you need to do this. I'm about to make like about to make a calendar to where it's just like, okay, so this month not only I'm gonna watch these two new horror movies coming out in theaters, but I'm gonna watch this one since it was recommended on like this weekend or something. I'm thinking I'm gonna
Exactly.
do that. And then of course, with me being a horror fan and a Halloween and October fanatic, October, that's basically when it's like I can just binge on horror movies and not be looked at crazily. Just be like, just kind of look at people and be like, well, how was your day, Quan? It's like, oh, I was watching the Halloween and the Friday the 13th saga on AMC, nonstop. It's like, you watched that for like 12 hours? It's like, yep. And
Yep.
I ate a lot of popcorn too. It was not that bad.
A lot of popcorn. Gotta have popcorn.
But nah, dig that. I dig that. So let's see. So we knocked that one out. So for the final one, because funny enough, we're actually about to hit good on time right now. The final one is this is for what would be three horror movies that you would introduce to beginners, like fresh people who are interested in horror, but they don't know if this could be their genre. And the reason
Yeah, I
why.
love this question. And one thing about this question, I thought about it all day. I've just been trying to think of It's gonna be different though for different people. I mean, I would think I would wanna ask that person what they wanna get out of it first,
Mhm.
but, I mean, there's definitely a good place to start. I mean to cut you off there when I start, but I wanted to tell you, I've been thinking about this all day 'cause I
Oh, no.
really love that question
Good.
because I think that's kinda where this video should go. I think you're gonna see a lot of people click on this maybe because they think, "Hey, wow, here's a couple of guys that love horror movie. Let me see what they're talking about." And then they start hearing all this stuff, and it's gonna be brain overload for them. You know, horror movie overload to them. Then you're gonna have
Mhm.
those right there that have seen probably as many as we have, and they're gonna start hopefully filling our comments with movies that they tell us we should watch. And we already got enough between us to keep up, but that's what we're kind of looking forward to anyway. So
Oh, yeah. Well, let's see here. So, and I kind of made the decision. The reason why I chose like three is because I said for some weird reason I said if I said five, I'd be like in my head was like, would they make it to five? Like, would they like would
would they make
like
it to five?
yeah, like would they watch the first one and be like, you know what, I'm done, or I'm not going to give any other shots. Like, I want to make sure. I kind of want to. I chose three because like it's quick. It's like almost straight to the point, but also you can like kind of make it, I guess, in a way, stepping blocks of like, okay, this is this kind of horror. This is this kind of horror. This is
Right,
more the extreme, most common kind of horrors. And if
right,
you like that, we can branch off on
right.
pretty
You
much
branch off into the different
into the
kinds of
different
different
kinds of
ones.
horror. So let's see. For me, let's see. The first one I'd recommend that'd be horror. First one. You know what? Yeah, I'm gonna go with it. The first one I'd recommend is actually came out 2 or 3 years ago. Um, Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
the reason why I choose that one is, 1, it has, of course, a good horror element, but it doesn't overdo it, and
right,
it's not like hardcore because
right,
because when I went to see it, that's what literally popped in my head. It's like, "Oh, this is like a good warm up for, like, horror people. Like, this will be one that you can be like, hey, if you're interested in horror, try this movie. And if you like this movie, come at me and we'll talk about other stuff."
right.
So probably the first one would definitely be like, yeah, that will definitely be like scary stories to tell in the dark. Second one, I don't want to say up I don't want to say up the intensity or take a left field, but I think the second one I would choose would be, and it pops in my head for some interesting reason. It really is the second Evil Dead movie with Bruce Campbell.
And
And yep. It's just that right there. Reason why is because like it's completely left field.
here's left
It
field.
is classified as a horror movie, but because the in the second one, not the first one, the second one, when the director decided he was going to lean into the goofiness of the horror.
Very campy. Yeah, very
Very
campy.
campy, yes, and very campy. I figured first that'd be a good second one because, like, it's campy, it's still has, like, elements of horror, it might be, like, a jump scene here and there, and definitely has gore here and there, but also it's not hardcore, and it can be enjoyable because, like, there's some goofy scenes in there, yeah, pretty much
Right.
we got the one that's, like, first one, starter pack, which is the Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark. Second one kinda hits a little bit to left field, but still in that genre. Second Evil Dead. Third one, that's when I probably, like, lightly test their might, and one I would go for mm, one I would go for third.
Well, I can go while you're thinking if you like.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. So while you're thinking of that third one, because like I said, I've been thinking about this all day, so it makes it a little bit easier for me. But when I started thinking, I was like, I'd start them off old school and then start them with something that's an Oscar winner. They're gonna watch, they're gonna say, "Oh wow, this got some pretty decent acting in it." Jaws. who can watch Jaws and go, okay, it's a little bit of jump scares. Got the big shark eating the people off the boats,
Yeah.
and it's plus it's Oscar winner. So that's why I went with that one at the very beginning. And I mentioned the other one earlier. I mentioned Poltergeist. Poltergeist has that again. It has that family element, inside the home element. People do this every
Yep.
day. You got your television there. It's different things that can happen. Poltergeist, and it just draws people into that whole, wow, could this really happen? And I think people need to feel that. I think people need to feel, could this really happen feeling. And then the third one I would put out there would be jump into something newer, would be like A Quiet Place. I don't see A Quiet Place getting
Hmm.
not gory,
You
but
know what?
scary as heck,
No, no, no,
and
no.
had a good ending.
I like that. I like that. No, no, no. That might be dang. Yeah. Dang. That might be my third one too. Yeah. I think it's definitely the first one because yeah, it's like it has a scary feels to it, and it's not that gory, and it's a good story,
Mhm.
and like has good feminine. So no,
Right,
no,
it's a very good story.
I dig that. I dig that. That'd be
I
something I
like
can
how the
definitely
story I
accomplish.
like how the story that's told, right?
Yes, I like it from there, and I definitely love the second one. The second one had had some very good had some very good nods and very good like I want to say in-depth discussion about like what the ending meant. And I
Right, what ending that, right.
yeah, what it talked about, yeah. And then of
I
course
like also another one just to throw out there, again, if you want people to watch movies, hey, you're a beginner. Again, when I mentioned Jaws, hey, everybody knows it, but also Bird Box. It's got Sandra Bullock in it. Again, it's really a thinking person horror movie. You don't see really no killings or anything. It's just a very thinking person scary movie. So again, I love Bird Box. So
Rip Off's pretty good. I like
great story. Have you seen it?
yes,
Have you seen it?
I've
Okay,
seen
very
it. I
good.
haven't seen the second one or the Netflix one. It's like Bird Box.
No, it's terrible. No. The second one's terrible. The
Second
second
one's
one is
terrible.
awful, awful, awful. I didn't even watch it. I mean, I watched the beginning of it and it was awful, so I stopped.
Gotcha.
I don't watch the movie if it's awful. As I told you, I turned Terrifier 2 off and I go watch it. I turned the Human Centipede off. There's the other thing I see.
Yeah,
I
no,
draw a
no, no,
line
I feel you.
somewhere.
I didn't even I give you props for trying Human Centipede. That just like yeah, like for instance, the video before that made me go like, but not like I need to watch it. It was like, okay, let's
Mhm.
next.
Gotta draw a line. That's it. Gotta
Yeah.
draw a line somewhere. But I love, like I said, I love the old school like horror movies, like My Bloody Valentine, Prom Night, some of those, those old school. Still got some decent actresses in it,
Mm,
but they're just slasher
that
films.
that
But that's kind of
reminds
what they
me.
started out.
That reminds me. There's actually two. Since I know you're big, yeah, big print slasher, and this pretty much this pretty much end the podcast after this. But pretty much, we try to do this. We try to do this on Thursday nights, and then after that, I try to edit them as best as possible and put them out as quickly as
Yeah.
possible. Hopefully, this time it'll come out a little bit better. But this will also, I guess, be the ending segment of, I guess, horror movies we'll be looking forward to this year. Which reminds me, back to that, there are two horror movies that'll be coming out that I think you'll be interested in because they both feature a unique slasher. And the first one comes out in February, which is like the month of like how can a slasher movie fit into Valentine's Day or fit close to Valentine's Day. And I think they might have found something. If you look up the trailer called Heart Eyes, tell me what you think.
I
That
haven't
might
seen
be
that one.
interesting. Huh? Never.
I have not seen that one. No, I'll have to look that one up.
It's very interesting, and like I think they might be like yeah, I think they might have found an official way, official slasher horror movie that fits in with like a Valentine's Day theme. Like I think they might have found it.
Cool.
Now that's from the trailer. Like I said, the trailer always looks awesome, and then you go see the movie and it's like 50-50. But I think
Right.
Hard Eyes, I think you might like the thought of Hard Eyes. And the second one that I think probably comes out during the summer because it is a campy horror movie. It's pretty much titled Hell of a Summer. And that is Un yeah,
I've seen the video for
and
that one.
oh, you seen the video? You seen the trailer for that
No,
one?
I've seen the video for that one. So, yes, I've seen the video for that one. Is it yes,
You like
yes.
it?
The kind of movies I like, so, I mean, hey, I'll watch it for sure.
Oh, no, you're good,
I
you're
mean, I go to the movie theater and watch it. I'll probably watch it when it comes on Netflix, but I'll watch it.
no, I might be hardcore. I'm usually hardcore about the movies. But no, oh, well, so I'm glad you so I pretty much got 1 out of 1 so far. 1 out of 1 you might see it, but, like, yeah, just you wanna look up, like, Hard Eyes and, like, yeah, tell me what you think because I think, yeah, that might be something up your alley for slasher movie
I'll
wise.
definitely take that one out for sure.
Let's see, besides, I guess yeah, besides this 28 years later and me about to go see Wolfman hopefully this weekend, knock, 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 knock on wood. Um, Another interesting. Well, wait, no. Well, there's like a bunch of horror movies that interest me coming out, but one that's coming out, I think, also in February, but it has like a unique spin to it. I think this would go into the realms of like I guess like cursed items horror movie. But pretty much it's called The Monkey. Have you seen that or seen the trailer for that?
I don't think I don't think so. It sounds familiar, but I don't think I have.
It- It's interesting. It's definitely a horror movie. It's interesting and it's wacky. And like I said, you'll see what I mean by wacky because pretty much long story short, you have like this person monkey object that every time the toy beats drums, something bad happens. And
No boy.
it's kind of like it kind of goes like for the mixture between like, oh, that's a complete accident to where it's like that is some final destination. Like, how did
Right.
cause him to, you know, possibly get off screen? So it's like so yeah, that's pretty much 2 trailers I'd ask you to, like, check out and tell me what you think about them. 1, Hard Eyes, and 2, The Monkey, and
Will do.
tell me if you like.
Sounds great.
But yeah, it's always awesome chilling with you. Like I said, I thought we were having good making good time, but I think as usual, is always the passion and always the
Oh my gosh, I could talk for hours about horror movies. I'm supposed to be working, as a matter of fact. Get back to work. Get back
Oh,
to
well,
work,
yeah, please,
Edge.
please get back to work. Please get back to work. Like I said, we have d remember, we gotta do this until we make it big.
That's correct.
Then you can go.
Then we can sit back and relax, kick up feet, and talk about horror movies the rest of our life. There you go.
Yes, that kind of thing. But other than that, always a pleasure. And yeah, we'll say that is a wrap for right now.
Peace.
Peace.